my favorite cherry yogis. Remember, a yogi is somebody who does yoga, so that's you. All right, we are going to do some yoga again. It's Friday, and before we start, let's turn on our ears with our singing bowl. Okay, so we're gonna sit down and remember what this pose is called? Sukhasana. All right, or when you're at Cherry in your classroom, sometimes it's crisscross. So you're going to start with your hands on your knees, right? And when the bowl stops singing, you're going to put your hands in your lap. And to make sure you're using your ears and not your eyes, you're going to close your eyes, okay? So take your hands on top of your knees, okay? Close your eyes. Job. Are your ears working? I hope so, because now to warm our body up, because it's a little chilly outside today, and you always want to make sure your body is ready to do yoga. So to warm up your bodies, we're going to listen to that song that we listened to last week called Rub Your Hands. So remember, if you rub your hands really, 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 really tight, and then you put them on your cheeks, it feels nice and warm. Okay, so we're going to do rub your hands, and in the song they also say to sing Om. Remember, that's that sound of oneness, right? It's the sound we all have in our bodies and the sound of us all together. Even though you're all the way over there and I'm all the way over here, right? We're still connected. And that's what yoga does. It helps connect people to people, and it helps connect your mind to your body. All right, so last week, I don't think I had it on very loud because I watched it later and you couldn't really hear it. So I'm going to turn it on a little louder. But remember, I like to change the words just to make sure you're still listening. Okay, so listen up. We'll get started. Rub your hands. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Oh, let's do it again. Rub your hands. Rub really hard. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Oh, rub your knees. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Deep through the nose. Oh, rub your shoulders. I'm trying to see if you know where it is. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Oh, rub your ears. Sit up tall. Can you hear me? Take a deep breath. Oh, rub your belly. Hopefully it's full of good food. Sit up tall. Take a big belly breath. Take a big breath. Oh, rub your elbows. Can you bring them together? Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Oh, rub your nose. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Breath through that nose. Oh, rub your hair. Make it crazy. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Oh, rub your eyes. I have to go under my glasses. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Oh. Good job. All right. You know you were just rubbing your eyes, so hopefully now they're wide awake because today we are going to use a story to do our yoga poses. Okay, and this story is called Yoga Bunny. All right, it's about a bunny who likes to do yoga. Okay, remember how I said you can find all different kinds of yoga poses out in nature outside your house, right? So do you remember bunny pose? I think we did it last week, right? Or no, we did it a couple weeks ago. And this is one of my favorite poses because I love bunnies. And I'm so happy there's so many bunnies outside right now as it gets warmer. So for bunny pose, you're going to come onto your knees, right? And you're going to lean over, put your head, if it reaches the ground, put your head down, and then take your hands behind you and lift them up. These are your bunny ears, right? And bunnies' ears move around because they listen and they hear things. And then remember, if you want, you could also do bunny breath while you're in your bunny pose. In bunny breath, you take short little breaths with your nose. You go, okay? So you're going to bend over and go. That is bunny pose. All right. So I'm going to have to change the screen a little back and forth because there's a couple of standing poses, so you might not be able to see me. All right. I'm in my daughter's bedroom. All right. So this is called Yoga Bunny, and it's by a man named Brian Russo, and he's a man who loves to do yoga, and he loves to draw pictures. So he wrote a book about a bunny doing yoga. All right, I'm going to hold this close so you can see it, right? So there he is coming out of the ground, right? Because it's nice and warm now. It's getting to be spring. One morning, Bunny crawled out of his hole, rubbed his eyes, just like you guys were doing, right? And let out a big yawn. This is a perfect morning to do yoga. I think it's always a perfect morning to do yoga. So, Bunny stood up. He dropped his head and arms down towards his feet, and he came into a forward fold. All right, so we're going to stand up tall. This is where I have to change the screen just for a second, and then I'll move it back. All right, so you're going to stand up tall, right? We do these when we do our sun salutations. You're going to lift your arms up like you're trying to touch the sky, and then bring your arms down to the ground. You might have to bend your knees, right? And this is a forward fold, right? So it's like he was taking a big yawn, saying hello to the day, and then he bent over and he folded over. And when he was folded over, right, just then a lizard came walking by. You see that lizard? Do you remember our lizard pose? We did do that a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so a lizard, you come on your hands and knees and you stick your tail out because they have a really long tail. And do you remember, we did this when we did the mixed up chameleon, right? And remember, lizards like to shoot their tongues out. And what do they like to eat? Right? They're looking for flies. Yeah, and if you're feeling super strong today, maybe you can lift that foot up and put your arm out at the same time, right? Or maybe it feels easier or better to do it on the other side, okay? And sometimes yoga poses work better than other days, so don't get upset if it doesn't work. All right, it's just good to try. So just then, a lizard came walking by. Good morning, lizard, said Bunny. Would you like to do yoga with me? I hate everything about mornings. I wish I could go back to bed, Lizard replied angrily. And with that, the lizard stomped away. Kind of crabby. Didn't want to do yoga with Bunny. Bunny was disappointed. I'm going to try to show you one page. Well, Bunny was disappointed, but he took a deep breath. Remember? Take a deep breath. So he took a deep breath, and he placed his hands on the ground, and he stepped backwards.
and he lifted his hips high in the air, coming into his downward facing dog. You guys all know down dog, right? Right? And down dogs, they like to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle their tails. All right, so when he was in his down dog, guess who came by? Right? His friend Fox came hurrying by. Zoom, zoom, zoom. He was moving so fast that he startled Bunny. Out of my way, Bunny, he said. I'm in a very big rush. Maybe you could take a minute and do this yoga pose with me, Bunny suggested. It might help you slow down. No thanks, Fox replied. I'd rather be in a big rush than do something so silly. And he hurried away. So, Fox pose is kind of like down dog. So we're going to go back to your down dog. That's what Bunny was doing when he saw Fox. But Fox had a big bushy tail. Remember, you bring one leg up and you go push, 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 push. You could also do it down on your knees if you want. You're going to sway your bushy tail. And that's Fox pose. But Fox didn't want to do yoga. He was too busy. And guess what? Bunny felt a little bit sad, but he took another deep breath and he stood up tall and he placed his hands in front of his heart and he balanced on one foot, coming into tree pose. All right, so we're going to first find our tree pose. I'm going to have to move this again so you can see. All right, so remember tree pose, standing up nice and tall. You have this nice long trunk, and you bend one knee, turn it out, right? And you can keep your foot on the ground, or you can lift your foot up. And that's a little bit harder because you have to balance. You can take your arms out for branches. One can go up. They could both go down. You could stay here, and we're going to count to 3. 1, and try to grow tall, tall, tall. 2, and 3. Good, beautiful trees. All right. And then when the bunny was in tree pose, just then a bird flew down, landed right on Bunny's head. Hiccup! I have a bad case of the hiccups, and I've tried everything to stop them, said Bird. Let's do bird pose. Okay. And there's a couple of ways to do bird pose, right? So for today, let's stand up. I'm going to turn sideways, right? And you're going to take one leg out. That's going to be your bird tail. And you take your arms out, right? And you're going to fly. And then again, you can maybe take your leg off and fly. This is a lot harder. Yeah. So this is okay if that feels too hard. So your bird flying. Right? A bird with the hiccups. Let's see. What does... Well, Bunny said, maybe you can do tree pose with me. It can calm you down, and that might help you with your hiccups. Hiccup? No way, Bird said. I'd rather live with these hiccups than stand on one leg. And with that, the bird flew away. He didn't even try. Will anyone ever want to do yoga with me? Bunny wondered aloud. But then he reminded himself that doing yoga alone is better than doing no yoga at all. I agree. Just as Bunny took a deep breath, remember, take another deep breath, and stepped back and bent his front leg. Just as Bunny took a deep breath, stepped back and bent his front leg and reached up way, way up, coming into warrior pose, 2 little mice walked by. What do you think he's reaching for? Whispered one of the mice. I don't know, but it must be very valuable. We'd better reach for it too. So do you remember warrior pose? So now the mice are doing it. Okay. So warrior pose. You're going to stand up tall and put one leg in front, right? And that knee is bent. And then you take your arms and you reach them up high. Yeah, and you're a big, strong warrior. And take 3 big breaths. Big breath in and big breath out. Good. Another big breath in and big breath out. One more. Big breath in and big breath out. Okay, hands on your hips. And before we go read more of the story, let's switch and do the other leg. So on the count of 3, you're going to switch, jump, switch, switch legs. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Right? Big warrior jumps. Again, take your arms up. Big breath in and big breath out. Big breath in and big breath out. Last one. Big breath in. It's hard to stand still. And big breath out. Good. All right. We all need to be big, brave, strong warriors so that we can get healthy and see each other very, very soon. Let's see. And so, look good. The mice stepped back, bent their front legs, and reached their arms way up, coming into warrior pose, just like Bunny. And they had their arms stretched way up and their eyes toward the sky. When they had their arms stretched way up and their eyes toward the sky, they noticed a bird flying by. And guess what? It was that same bird. Yep. And Bird still had the hiccups. But he came down to join them, pressing his wings together in front of their heart, lifting one leg and coming into tree pose, just like Bunny and the mice. All right, so we're going to go back. All right, now we're going to do the tree on the other leg just to see if it's easier or if it's the same. Right? Big breath in. And out. Big, tall, strong tree. Big breath in. And out. One more. Whoops, I'm getting wobbly. Big breath in and out. So now the mice and the bunny and the bird were doing tree pose. And then all of a sudden they heard a noise. Zoom, zoom, zoom. And Fox came hurrying by and saw the friends standing in a circle, and he pressed his hands to the ground, stepped back, and lifted his hips, coming into down dog. Just like Bunny, the mice, and bird. So now they're all doing, I'm going to go back and do your down dog, right? Okay. And when they were in down dog, when they were done doing down dog, Bunny took a deep breath and laid down on his back, coming into resting pose. And when Lizard came walking by, he decided to lay down just like Bunny. All right? So before we go into that last pose, lizard resting pose, we're going to do our lizard, right? See if you can lift up. And then they came into resting pose. Do you remember resting pose? It's the last pose we do, and it's called Shavasana. I like to go shh because it's a quiet pose. Okay? So, Bunny was so happy his friends had joined him that he was so happy that his friends had joined him that he opened up his mouth and he let out a big Om. And all his friends did the same. Then Fox sat up and said, "I know where I'm supposed to be," said Fox, not so angry anymore. "It's right here. Thank you, Yoga Bunny." right? So that's one of the great things about yoga. You can do it almost anywhere at any time, and you can do it alone or you can do it with your friends, right? So Bunny started to do it alone, but then he ended up doing it with his friends. All right, so we're going to get ready now and do our Shavasana. All right, and remember, to help you stay in Shavasana, you're going to grab your favorite breathing bunny for today. Breathing buddy. I said bunny. All right, I'm going to I forgot to grab one, so I have to grab one off the bed here. All right, good. And today it's a bear. Too bad I don't have a bunny. All right, so we're going to lie down on your backs. Okay. Coming into Shavasana. And then take your bunny, or your buddy, I keep saying bunny, and put it on your belly. Close your eyes, and then just using your breath, take a big breath, belly breath, and have your buddy go up. And then buddy comes back down. Keep going. Take a big belly breath. Feel your buddy go up. Down. Couple more times. Big belly breath. Buddy up. And down. Good. Two more. Big belly breath. Buddy up. And down. Last one. Big belly breath in. And out. Good. All right. Close your eyes. Give your buddy a squeeze with your knees. And then together you're going to roll up 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Come on up. All right, so keeping your buddy on your lap, we're going to end with our goodbye song, our namaste, right? And in certain places in the world, people say namaste to say goodbye and hello. Okay? And remember, namaste, that means that I have a light and it sees your light and I'm going to share it. We're going to share it. Right? So sitting up nice and tall, my little light sees your little light, your little light, your little light. My little light sees your little light. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you next week. And I hope until then that you stay safe and you stay healthy. Bye, everybody.